Chapter 5: How Problems Lead to Solutions. Every great invention in human history started with a problem. Fire solved the problem of cold and darkness. The wheel solved the problem of moving heavy stuff. The internet solved the problem of global communication. And money, believe it or not, follows the same pattern. Whenever people ran into problems with the way money worked, they created new solutions every time. The history of money is really the history of problem solving. And once you see that, you'll realize why we are living through one of the biggest money revolutions ever right now. So let's start simple. Imagine you're living in the days of barter. You've got chickens, your neighbor has apples, you want apples, he wants chicken. Perfect. That works fine until it doesn't. What if he doesn't want chicken today? What if he wants shoes? And what if the shoemaker does not want chicken either? You're stuck. That's a problem. The solution? Create some kind of universal thing that everyone agrees to accept. That's the birth of money. But money itself came with its own problems. Early commodity money like salt or grain was useful, but it was not durable. It spoiled. It got eaten by rats and its value lost very fast. That was a problem. The solution? Metals like gold and silver. They lasted forever. They were scarce and everyone valued them. That worked great for a while. Then came another problem. Carrying heavy metal coins around was convenient, especially for long distance trade. Merchants wanted something easier, and that problem led to the invention of paper money, a lightweight promise that could represent gold or silver stored somewhere safe. Suddenly, trade was faster, safer, and more efficient. Problem solved, or at least temporarily. Because then, guess what? Another problem appeared. Governments realized they could cheat. They could print more paper notes than the gold that they had in reserve. They could dilute coins with cheaper metals. And eventually, they cut the link to gold completely. Now, money was not backed by anything real. It was just fiat, valued by decree. That solved the short-term problem of flexibility, but it created a new one: inflation. Suddenly, the money people worked their whole lives to save could lose value overnight because someone in power decided to print more. And that's where we are today. Fiat money solved the problem of portability and flexibility, but it created the problem of trust. Can you really trust your government or central bank not to abuse its power? Can you really trust them to protect your savings? If history teaches us anything, the answer is no. Now, let's step back for a second. This problems leading to solutions is not just about money. It's about human progress in general. Think about transportation. Horses worked fine until we needed to go faster and to carry more. So we invented cars. Cars worked fine until we needed to cross oceans. So invented airplanes. Airplanes worked fine until we wanted to reach space. So we built rockets. Each solution creates new possibilities, but also new challenges. And that drives innovation forward. The same is true with money. Each new form of money solved the problems of the last one, but also introduced its own flaws. Barter was too clunky, so we created commodities. Commodities were too fragile, so we used metals. Metals were too heavy, so we used paper. The paper was too easy to manipulate, so we created fiat. Fiat gave governments power, but too much power. And now we are staring at the latest problem. How do we create money that is global, trustworthy, scarce, and fair in a digital world? That exact question Bitcoin set out to answer. But before we even get to Bitcoin, let's really feel the pain of these problems. Because when you see and understand the problems clearly, the solution will feel very obvious. Inflation is one of the biggest problems of fiat. When governments print too much money, the price of commodities goes up. Your shopping gets more expensive. Your rent must go up and your savings lose value. It feels like the world is getting even more expensive. But what is really happening is your money is getting weaker. Inflation is a hidden tax, and most people don't even realize that they are paying for it. They blame greedy businesses or global events, but at its core, inflation is usually about money being created faster than real wealth. That is the problem. Another problem is control. With fiat, governments and banks decide who gets access to money. They can freeze accounts. They can even block transactions or completely exclude entire groups of people from global trade. Billions of people around the world are unbanked, not because they are lazy and do not work hard, but because they do not have the right documents, the right connections, or the right trust in their governments. Money that is controlled from the top down leaves ordinary people vulnerable. That is a problem. Then there's debt. Fiat money actually encourages debt because when central banks can print more money and lower interest rates, borrowing becomes cheap. People borrow to buy homes, businesses borrow to expand, and governments borrow to fund programs. But too much debt creates fragility. One crisis, one shock, and the whole system starts to wobble. We saw this in 2008 during the financial crash. Banks collapsed, governments bailed them out, and ordinary people, you and I, paid the price. That is another problem. So if fiat is full of problems, what kind of solution should we be looking for? Let's think through it logically. First, the new money should be scarce. That means no one can just print infinite amounts of it. Scarcity protects savings and it creates trust. Second, it should be decentralized. That means no single person, company, or government controls it. If money is freedom, then you don't want your freedom controlled by someone else. Third, it should be durable and portable. It should last over time and be easy to transfer across the world. And finally, it should be fair. Everyone should play by the same rules. No bailouts, no special privileges. Sounds like a tall order, right? For most of history, it was impossible. But with the invention of Bitcoin, suddenly a new solution emerged. One that addressed all these problems at once. Now here is the cool part. If you look at Bitcoin through this lens, it's not some random invention. It is the next logical step in the story of money. Just like paper solved the problem of gold and fiat solved the problems of paper, Bitcoin is here to solve the problems of fiat. It is decentralized, scarce, durable, portable, and fair. It is designed specifically to fix the issues that plague our current system. But here's the thing. This is not the first time humans have faced a money problem that seemed impossible. When Rome collapsed, people thought trade and civilization might never recover. When Weimar Germany experienced hyperinflation, people thought money was finished. But each time, new solutions emerged. Money evolved, and it's evolving again right now. So when people ask, why do we need Bitcoin? The answer starts here in chapter 5. We need it because every form of money in history has carried problems, and every time humanity has invented solutions. Bitcoin is not just a random tech trend. It's a solution to the exact set of problems fiat has created. Let me give you a simple way to think about it. Imagine money as a bridge. Barter was like a rope stretched over a river, risky and efficient. Commodity was like a wooden bridge, better but still fragile. Gold was a stone bridge, strong but heavy and slow. Paper money was a suspension bridge, lightweight, flexible, but easy to weaken. Fiat is a modern steel bridge, fast and expansive, but built on shaky foundations that can rust over time. Bitcoin is like a self-repairing, indestructible digital bridge, transparent, decentralized, and built to last as long as human civilization itself. And here's a real kicker. Problems don't just lead to solutions, they also reveal values. Every form of money shows us what societies cared about at that time. Barter valued direct relationships. Gold valued scarcity. Paper valued convenience. Fiat valued government control. And Bitcoin values freedom, fairness, and trust in math over trust in politicians. It is a reflection of what our digital age truly needs. So the next time you hear someone say, money has always been this way, why change it? Remember the story. Money has never stayed the same. Every system had flaws, every system faced problems, and every system eventually evolved into something new. We don't need money because it's perfect. We need money because it solves problems. And when money itself becomes a problem, humanity always finds a new solution. And that's the exact moment we are living through right now. Fiat money is showing its cracks. People are losing trust, and a new solution is rising. You can fight it, ignore it, or embrace it, but you cannot stop it. Because the history of money tells us one thing clearly. When problems get too big, new solutions always emerge.